You guys on the back end have been dealing with a lot of moving parts personnel-wise. Just how conditioned, maybe at this point, do you feel to kind of maybe not necessarily know who's to your left or to your right, but feel like you guys can still have some success?
The good thing is we all prepared the same way, and in our room, Coach Yates does a good job of making sure we know all the positions. So when something does happen in the game, we can just plug people in and just keep going. That's kind of what happened this past weekend. So
I know Steve's your close friend, and can't remember if he's your roommate or not, but just what goes through your mind when he's finally getting his opportunity to play a lot this year and he has to go through an injury like that?
it's tough. He's been playing really good, especially, and we had that chemistry going. So it is tough to always see that. Just he finally was getting into it and getting better. So it's tough, but he'll be back. So.
And just the role of Addison and Damon now, and just their opportunity now. This team talks a lot about next man up. Just those two guys are probably gonna have to play quite a bit.
Well, BA did a good job on Saturday. He made some plays here and there. Some things we need to clean up as always, but he did a good job. And then Scoop's been getting ready for this, so it's time. We told him it's time to go now. He can't wait, and the moment's here, so just step up.
What's the scouting report on Washington? What do you see from them?
Physical team. Want to establish the run, and then of course they have playmakers at receiver. System's been kind of the same as it's always been, but they have a couple good running backs, and the quarterback, whenever he's on, he's hot. So just got to make sure we do our job. That's what it comes down to. Be physical, play fast, and we'll be fine.
How much of games like this, especially on the road against a rival, you don't want to let your emotions get too high in these types of games? Or does that matter?
Well, I guess for me, and being an older guy who's already been there, who's played when it was raining and the stakes were high and all of that, it's another game. You know what I mean? Of course, it's a rivalry. People are going to make it bigger than what it is, but at the end of the day, it's football. So going in, making sure we know what we need to do, handling business, and get back on that plane and just doing our job. That's just what it comes down to.
It was pretty lively competition between your guys and the scouts today. This is supposed to be kind of the dog days, but I just talk about kind of trying to keep the energy up now and kind of what do you think the source of that is?
We want practice to be harder than the game. So for us to have such a competitive spirit and the scout team coming at us, and of course the offense, we do ones on ones and twos on twos, and that just makes us all better, and it helps them get better as well, because you see guys go down and some of them may have to get plugged in, and then just for us, I mean, it makes it difficult for us. We see things harder, so when we see it in the game, it's like it's easy.
What happened to you on the injury?
Just got the wind knocked out of me. I'm good, ready to go. I'm 100%. So.
You had a flair for the dramatic running out of the tent, though.
Oh, we were in the red zone, I believe. So I was like, I need to get back on the field. So I was just ready to go. I think it was like second down. I was trying to make sure we hold them, so I was just ready to go.
We'll get into it more in a couple hours, but explain for folks. You move over from field to boundary when Addison comes in. Mentally for you, you're aware of everything at this point, but just how challenging is that mid-game to do that?
It is a little different over in the boundary, but right after probably like the third play, I was adjusted. So just the communication side, who you're talking to, and then just the way you have to move pre-snap is a little different over there. But the spacing is a little more condensed, so in the technicality, it's a little bit easier, but it wasn't that bad. And for somebody who knows really what everybody's doing, the transition wasn't hard.
Depth obviously tested significantly with Steve down, with Damon later down for a moment, you for a few reps there. What did you see from Lucas on tape in particular? Let's start with him.
Lucas is in the same meetings we're in, and when he went out there, he wasn't worried. He knew exactly what he was doing, and it was all about him doing his job. You don't need to be Superman. You don't need to get in the phone booth and change or do anything like that. Go in, do your job, and the rest will handle itself. Tackle, play fast, and play physical. Something I've been taught since I was a kid. Just play fast and play physical and do your job, and the rest will handle itself.
BA had his most opportunities, his most production, and also got picked on a good bit. What do you see from him in that spot?
He was ready for the moment. He made some plays. Of course, there's always things to clean up, but that's just how every game goes. But somebody that's getting into the flow of it and ready to keep stepping up and filling in the role wherever he's needed.
I'm not going to ask you to comment a lot of his story and his background, but as a teammate who's been around him for so long, when people use the term like adversity in football and sports, Verone, it seems rather hollow when you have somebody who has the real tragedy that he has faced in life. You speak to just what that meant to you to see as a teammate, that he gets those opportunities after what has been a very challenging year for Brian.
Strong individual, somebody who's just, honestly, I don't even have words for it because I haven't been in those shoes before really, so it's hard for me to even speak on it. But good kid, comes in with the good attitudes, good spirit, and just high energy. So he just does what he needs to do.
Obviously, the college football rankings come out tonight. Just how important is it for this team to just focus on the task at hand and also block out those distractions?
It's super important. There's a lot of noise outside of this, people talking, rankings, all of this stuff. At the end of the day, you got to focus on the task at hand, and that is Washington this week, and just keep stacking bricks. We're trying to build, like I said earlier in the year, we're trying to build a mansion, and to build that mansion, we got to keep stacking bricks. So one game at a time, one practice at a time, one meeting at a time, and we'll let the rest handle itself.
Do you watch it?
Well, probably not. I'll probably be in meetings when it comes out. So, I mean, it's a ranking.
Right.
There's still 4 to 5 weeks left of college football to where that can all shake out. So, it's just an initial ranking. Just like how the season starts, you have an initial ranking. All right, let's see how you finish. So it doesn't. I probably won't watch it. We'll hear about it, of
I was
course.
gonna say, like, how do you fight off the curiosity of seeing where you are?
You don't fight it off. You address it and move on. This is our ranking. Cool. Let's keep playing. This is just what it is. Of course, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna see it. You're gonna read it. Okay. You address it and just move on.
Sorry if you've already been asked about Jeff Basso, but it seems like he's just looking more comfortable week by week. What have you kind of seen with him making improvements to that position?
I told him the same thing today. I said, you just look more comfortable at it. And he's been building week after week after week, and now he's understanding where he needs to fit, how to play off of people, and he's playing fast and physical. And the thing is, he knows what he's doing, which allows him to play faster. And, of course, as a younger guy, things are going fast and you're trying to adjust, but now he's getting into the rhythm of where he sees it, he just goes. He doesn't have to think about it. So he's just getting better, and he's been doing a good job at practice as well as carrying his games over into practice and continuing to get better. So that's what I've seen.
Kayvon was saying that the secondary was pretty big and how you guys were able to improve on third down defense last week against Colorado. With you being in the secondary, how big do you view that third down defense and being able to get those stops in a game?
Third down, most likely they're going to pass the ball. So, of course, the rush is impactful in whatever scheme we have dialed up. But for us, we got to cover. And we play a lot of different things, but either if we're in man, that means playing sticky coverage, or if we're in zone, understanding where we need to be at, where the sticks are, where we need to drop with our angles, and identifying all of our threats, who's where. So on third down, that's kind of what it all takes. And we harp on that every week, just making sure we get off the field on third down, because we do get in those situations, and you want to be able to get off the field. So.
What have you seen from their wide receiver number 1 in particular? What makes him unique? Yeah, what makes him a challenge?
Been really big for them this year. He's made some really big plays at key moments, and good hands, good speed, can play pretty much all the receiver positions. So our work's cut out for us. Good player.
They've changed a lot stylistically from the first month of the season. Their quarterback averaged like 280 yards. And now with McGrew back, he's averaging like 180 yards, and they're doing a lot more on the ground. As you watch film, what have you seen that they've done differently the last month?
Run the ball. That's really what it is. They run the ball. They've been using a lot of their running backs that are healthy. I don't know who's going to be back, who's not. We're prepared for all of them, but that's what it is. Making the game a little bit easier for them, but nothing crazy.
What have you seen from Brian Addison as it looks like he's getting into a bigger role, and seeing that he's a pretty big dude for a safety? How are you seeing him kind of develop?
Just adjusted well. He's played safety before. He played safety in high school, so just carrying it over, switching his brain, and he's been ready for the moment, and he stepped up on Saturday. And I'm excited to see him continue to keep stepping up game after game.